What are you doing here?
Grandma? When I arrived at my son's house, I was met with a shocking sight. In the dim light, my grandchild was sitting outside the entrance, barefoot.
Aren't you cold?
Yeah. Without a second thought, I embraced my grandchild. I remembered the weather report saying it might snow tonight. What on earth are the parents doing, leaving such a young child outside? My anger towards my son began to rise.
Why are you sitting out here?
Then, my grandchild, fighting back tears, explained. I'm not allowed in.
Why not?
It's my brother's birthday, and only real family is allowed.
What?
Under the cold sky, I raised my voice. What do they mean by real family? My grandchild, overwhelmed with emotion, began to cry loudly, his face a mess with tears and a runny nose.
Let's go somewhere warm, okay? It's cold here.
Yeah.
You must be hungry too, right? We'll get there soon.
Near my son's house, there was a pub run by a longtime friend. I couldn't be picky about the place. Thinking they would welcome us, I opened the door. Oh? You're back again?
Got a bit of a situation.
My grandchild peeked out from behind me. Your grandchild?
Yes, that's right.
I immediately contacted someone. What my son and his wife were doing was inexcusable. Abandoning my precious grandchild like this? They're going to face the consequences. As a mother and a mother-in-law, I was prepared. This is how, by calling the real family, my son and his wife were about to face their downfall. My name is Veronica, and I just turned 60 this year. My husband, whom I had been with for many years, passed away from illness about 2 years ago. I live alone in the house he left me.
Maybe it's time to live together? I'm fine on my own. I can manage.
That's what I told my son when he returned home after a long time.
But it must be boring alone, right? Indeed, I'm alone, but somehow, I don't feel lonely in this house. That's a shame.
Sally, my son's wife who came with him, seemed a bit relieved. My reluctance to live together was largely due to her presence. She was my son's second wife.
Sally, you must be more comfortable without me around, right?
What? No, it's not like that. I was being a bit mean at the time. I wasn't particularly close or distant with Sally, but our wavelengths never quite matched. My son and his wife have 2 children, but the daughter, Natalia, is my son's stepdaughter. I've heard he took her in somewhat forcibly. The younger brother, John, was born right after they remarried.
By the way, what happened to Natalia? Oh, Natalia is at a friend's house. I see.
Now that I think about it, they hardly ever brought Natalia when they came to this house. Even when they did, I felt like their attitude towards her was somewhat cold. It wasn't like this with his first wife. Why did it change? I think the reason for my son's divorce was his wife's infidelity. Although I had exchanged contact information with the former wife, we never communicated. It was about 4 years ago when my son showed up with Sally, his new wife. What shocked me more was that she was already pregnant.
Nice to meet you, Veronica. Nice to meet you too.
At that time, I thought it wasn't my place to interfere if my son had chosen her. But as things that concerned me increased, so did my questions. Sally started showing her true colors, possibly because she found it bothersome. This recent incident with Natalia was one such example.
Is Natalia really at a friend's?
I already told you that. She was clearly irritated. But this was just the beginning.
What's with the raised voice, Sally?
My son came in, sensing something was off. It's nothing. After saying that, Sally glared at me and walked over to John. At that moment, I suspected they were hiding something about Natalia. Her sensitive reaction suggested that much. But at the time, I had no way to confirm it.
Well, we're gonna head back now. Okay. Bring Natalia next time.
My son's face clouded over at that. It's possible that not just Sally, but also my son knew about the situation.
We'll bring her next time. Good. Please do so.
They seemed to be whispering about something, but I couldn't hear what. After that, they never came back. Perhaps they sensed that I was onto something. Even so, I couldn't help but worry about how Natalia was doing. So, I came up with a plan.
Hello? I have a suggestion.
What's up?
About the living together thing we talked about earlier.
Are you thinking about moving in with us?
I've thought about it, and living together might not be so bad.
That's great.
I'll start getting ready then. Sooner is better, right?
Really? You're sure?
Yes. I don't want to be a burden on you.
That would be a huge help. And so, it was decided that I would live with my son's family. It wasn't because I disliked being alone. My sole purpose was to see Natalia, whom I hadn't seen in a long time, and check on her situation. I thought about visiting, but the distance was nearly 2 hours by train, so frequent visits weren't feasible. I hoped this would solve things, but there was a bit of unease. Nevertheless, I couldn't just sit around and do nothing. I immediately started preparing to move to my son's house. I packed up things at home and left the moving to the professionals. 2 weeks later, I began living with them.
Let's get along well from now on. From today, think of this place as your own home and relax. Thank you, I appreciate it.
After the greetings, I went to see Natalia. I was speechless when I saw her. She should be 9 years old now, but she looked so thin. Natalia? Do you remember me? Grandma? Yes, that's right. Grandma will live here with you from today.
Really? Yay!
Her smile, though frail, was full of effort. Along with relief, I felt despair at how terrible her condition had become. Clearly, Natalia's position in the house was the lowest. But if I did something too overt, it might make things worse for her. So, I took her out under the pretense of helping me.
I'm going to do some shopping.
Okay.
Oh, you're taking Natalia too? Yes, she's going to help me out a bit.
All right. Sally looked displeased. She probably wanted to keep Natalia away from me. Whenever we went out, I made sure to feed Natalia her favorite foods and take her to various places. Thanks to that, she seemed to regain some color and energy compared to when we started living together.
Natalia? What did you usually do at home?
Well, I read books in my room or draw.
Don't you play with your mom and dad?
It was hard to ask such things, but I was filled with a desire to help her.
Dad and Mom always play with John. When I want to join, they tell me to go to my room. That's sad. From now on, Grandma will play a lot with you.
Yeah. It seemed more like neglect or even abuse than just poor parenting. She had regained some weight now, but before I came, she probably wasn't even fed properly. I resolved to protect her no matter what. Then, one day, having been out since morning due to a commitment with a friend, I returned home in the evening.
What? What's happening?
As I entered the house, I heard Sally's angry voice.
What are you doing? Do it like I told you earlier.
Sorry. It seemed she was scolding Natalia, but it looked serious.
Sally? What are you doing? She's scared.
Natalia was crouching, holding her head. Such incidents must have happened many times when I wasn't around. Otherwise, Natalia wouldn't react like this. I stood between Sally and Natalia. Don't interfere. This is education.
What happened before this?
She couldn't do what I instructed. Sally seemed agitated. When I calmed her down and listened, it turned out she had asked Natalia to do the laundry. But Natalia accidentally used fabric softener instead of detergent.
Everyone makes mistakes, right? Especially since Natalia is only 8.
That's no excuse.
Calm down.
But Sally even snapped at me.
If you're going to complain, then do it yourself. What?
You are the one who started complaining. She left Natalia and me there and walked away. The situation in this house was becoming unbearable. Grandma?
It's okay, don't worry. Let's do it together.
With anger and resolve, I knew I couldn't let this continue. Later, I brought this up with my son.
Don't you think this is too much? Well, Natalia is already 8 years old, so we thought it's time she learns to do various things.
My son said, seemingly uneasy.
It's good to teach her, sure, but what happened last time was abnormal. That's too much, even for education. Well, you know.
It's your child, aren't you supposed to take proper care of her?
Then my son, perhaps angered by my words, retorted with something outrageous.
I didn't even want to take her in the first place. What? Then why did you? I thought maybe she'd be useful. But she's turning out just like her mother.
He continued to complain about his ex-wife, sounding more like he was trying to absolve himself of guilt than expressing anger. I was stunned by his behavior.
Anyway, please pay more attention to Natalia. She's lonely too.
I know. But contrary to their words, my son and his wife made Natalia do cleaning, laundry, and even go shopping alone. Meanwhile, I supported her without letting them notice. Despite being treated so badly, Natalia never complained and worked hard. I couldn't stop her when I saw her determination. I asked her why she was working so hard.
Why do you try so hard, Natalia?
Because John's birthday is coming soon. She answered with joy, but I could only watch. Why does such a good child have to suffer like this?
You're a good big sister, Natalia.
Yeah. I'm John's big sister. I avoided admonishing my son and Sally, hoping Natalia's feelings would continue. However, their attitudes seemed to soften over time. Then, a period of calm ensued. I need a bit of help with something.
Help with what?
Yeah. I'm short on hands.
Well, okay.
Thank you. Can you help right now?
Now? I guess I have to. I'll get ready and go.
One of my friends had opened a pub about half a year ago. Today, their usual part-time worker was off, so they asked for my help. Luckily, the pub wasn't too far from my son's house.
I'll be out for a bit.
Okay, by the way, we're celebrating John's birthday today. What? But his birthday is the day after tomorrow.
We changed our minds.
They planned this in my absence, probably wanting to get rid of me, the nuisance. I thought they had calmed down recently, but I was mistaken. Aren't you leaving now?
Yes, I am.
Don't worry, we'll enjoy the birthday as a family. I left the house, but Sally's unpleasant expression stayed in my mind. At the friend's pub, I helped with various tasks. Before I knew it, it was past 9 p.m. Is it this late already? Thank you so much, you really helped.
It's fine. Working like this once in a while is good.
We're always waiting for you.
See you later.
So, I walked down the dark street, thinking about the birthday celebration at home. Honestly, I dreaded going back. When I finally reached the house, I was met with a shocking scene. I couldn't understand what was happening and got confused. I quickly came to my senses and approached Natalia. Yes. My young daughter was left outside by my son. Despite looking forward to it so much.
Why are you here? Did they say something?
I'm not allowed in.
Only the real family can celebrate John's birthday, so I can't. Under the cold sky, I raised my voice loud enough for the neighbors to hear. What do they mean by real family? Then Natalia, overwhelmed with emotion, started crying loudly, her face wet with tears and a runny nose. I decided we couldn't stay here and chose to move.
Let's go somewhere warm, okay? It's cold here.
Yeah.
You must be hungry too, right? We'll get there soon.
I retraced our steps and headed towards the pub run by my friend. I couldn't afford to be picky about the place. I knew my friend would welcome us. As I opened the door. Oh? You're back again?
There's a situation.
Natalia peeked out from behind me. I see. Sit down, let's talk.
Before that, let me make a phone call.
I took out my smartphone and immediately called someone.
I won't let them get away with abandoning my precious granddaughter. What happened? Well, it's about Natalia's parents.
I explained today's events and the history, using gestures and expressions.
What? Your son did this? Couldn't you do something?
They wouldn't listen to anything I said.
That's unbelievable. Could it be that Sally, was it? She doesn't like her because she's the child of the previous wife?
But she knew that before remarrying.
Could she have remarried just to mistreat her?
Surely not.
If what my friend suggested was true, it would be unspeakably awful. My son must be involved too. No matter the reason, they must be held accountable. Then, Natalia's stomach growled.
Right. You must be hungry. Can you prepare something she can eat?
How about an omelet? Natalia's face brightened up like a blooming flower. I'll go make it, wait here. Natalia nodded. I gently stroked her head. The omelet arrived in about 5 minutes, and Natalia ate heartily. After about 30 minutes, the door opened. And a familiar face appeared.
It's been a while, Olivia. Long time no see.
The person I had called was Olivia, my son's ex-wife.
Natalia? Do you remember me?
You're my mom, right?
Yes, that's right.
Mom. Natalia hugged her immediately. Seeing them together, I nearly cried. But bit my lip to hold back tears.
What's going on? Sorry for the sudden call. There's a serious situation. What happened? Let me tell you.
I explained Natalia's situation to Olivia.
If only I had been more responsible, this wouldn't have happened.
Olivia blamed herself. But I shared the responsibility for the situation.
Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault, Olivia.
I have something to say too.
Olivia shared how her divorce came about. And why Natalia ended up with my son. As she talked, it was hard to believe such things could happen.
Is that true?
It may be hard to believe, but it's all true.
Unbelievable.
The truth was, Olivia had been framed by my son and Sally. I had heard that the divorce was due to her infidelity, but that was a lie. The actual affair was between my son and his current wife, Sally. Olivia didn't seem to be lying. The way Natalia reacted upon seeing her real mother confirmed it.
Moreover, the lawyer my ex-husband hired was in on it. No matter what I said, they wouldn't believe me. I never forgot about Natalia, not even once.
I placed my hand on Olivia's shoulder.
Don't worry. I'm on your side no matter what.
Thank you. But what do we do now?
We pondered how to break the current situation. At this time, there were several customers at my friend's pub. A man in the pub stood up and approached us.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. Maybe I can help. And you are?
He handed me his business card, which read attorney. I looked back and forth between the card and the man.
Are you sure? Yes. If that lawyer is genuine, I can't forgive them.
We unexpectedly found a strong ally in this attorney named Daniel, who offered to defend us pro bono. We decided to go back to our homes for the night, to avoid arousing suspicion.
Please take care of Natalia. And I'm sorry for everything.
Don't apologize.
I actually thought you might hate me.
Not at all. I should have contacted you sooner.
We had risen to defend Natalia. For the next 2 months, we lived as we had before, but I kept a close watch to ensure nothing happened to Natalia. Fortunately, my son and Sally were too preoccupied with John, so Natalia was safe. Then, Olivia called.
Everything's ready. I'll be there soon.
Sure. Let's show those two what they deserve. 3 days later, Olivia and attorney Daniel appeared at my son's house. The couple was flustered by the unexpected visit.
What are you doing here? What does this old flame want?
Olivia remained calm. We're here to sue you both.
What? Are you out of your mind?
Attorney Daniel then presented a document.
This paper states that Natalia should live with Olivia.
You expect us to accept this just because you say so?
Shall I explain?
First, the lawyer you hired doesn't exist, does he? The couple was visibly shaken, sweating.
My investigation revealed no such person in the bar association, and it seems he had a criminal record for fraud.
You knew that, right?
Since he was your friend.
My son was speechless, looking down. Sally refused to give up.
Don't be ridiculous. You just show up with nonsense.
I couldn't hold back anymore.
Enough already. Weren't you involved with Olivia even before your divorce? That's not true. But it's strange. The timing of your child's birth suggests you were still married.
Sally was speechless.
Just give up. You took Natalia just to harass Olivia, right? That's not true. It was his idea.
She pointed at my son.
What? Why me? You said it was better to take her since she's the daughter of that woman.
We've recorded everything.
What?
I had been recording all our conversations so far with my smartphone.
I'm ashamed to call such a man my son. Wait, Mom. I don't want to hear Mom from you. You both will face hellish days ahead, maybe even behind bars. But what about John? That's true.
Don't worry.
If needed, I'll take good care of him.
After that, they had nothing more to say. We left them in their despair and exited the house. Olivia and I smiled at each other. A week later, we were living in my old house. We couldn't leave Natalia with them. But they didn't give up until the end.
It seems they intend to sue us. But even if they do,
you're right.
We have all the evidence and Daniel's support. They're just tightening the noose around their own necks.
Apparently, they had hired a real lawyer, but it was futile. The trial was a clear victory for us. They lost and faced numerous charges, burdened with a huge alimony. A week after the trial, my son contacted me.
I'm sorry for everything. Please help me.
You're mistaken if you think you should apologize to me.
You're the only one I can turn to, Mom.
He sounded weak.
Unfortunately, I no longer have a son. Don't contact me again.
I hung up. Following the incident, my son and Sally fell out and divorced. They both had to work tirelessly to pay off their debts. And John was taken in by Sally's parents. All that was left for them was debt.
We'll visit soon.
Okay. Come with Mom. We'll be waiting.
Since then, I've returned to my home, living as I please. My joy now comes from Natalia and Olivia's visits. My future looks bright.